Hello and welcome. I have a 10 minutes session plan for the unit of competence, fundamentals of neural networks. The session title will be the activation functions in neural networks. So in the session plan, usually I have the date where you put the date where that session, that particular session will take place. You put your admission number and the time, that is the time range where when the session will be taking place. Then the institution where you are training, yeah, you need code, you have it there. That is the code for the unit of this particular unit of competence. Session title, I've said once again, is the activation functions in neural networks. Other requirements for this particular session is a basic knowledge of linear algebra, calculus, and probability, and familiarity with programming languages such as Python, because usually when the knowledge of activation functions when it comes to implementing them, you require to use some IDEs that are more of Python. So learning outcomes for this particular session, or there are two learning outcomes whereby by the end of this session, the learner will be able to define what is an activation function in addition to neural networks, describe the three types of activation functions in addition to neural networks. Resources which include reference materials and the learning aid. We have references. We have a textbook by Charo and Greer, and a documentation for the IDE such as TensorFlow. Learning aid, I'll just use one learning aid for this particular session because it's only a 10 minutes session, which will be a video clip that will be played to the learners that they can see the various activation functions types. Safety requirements for this particular session is a COVID-19 safety, whereby the regularly touched surfaces should be disinfected frequently, and the proper seating arrangement to allow for comfortable and safe movement of learners. And then you have clear exits in case of emergencies. They should be open, ready for any exit in case of any accident or any emergency. So in this session, the session presentation, we have the introduction part whereby I'll be taking the roll call of the learners, review the previous session, and state the session title and the expected learning outcomes for this session. That will take 2 minutes. Then once I've introduced the session, we'll start by playing a video clip that will be showing the definition of activation functions and the types. So the learners are expected, that is the trainee activity or the learner activity, is to watch. They are supposed to watch and note down the definition and the three types of activation functions. And then how do you now check or assess? We'll assess knowledge here by oral questioning and also written assessments. That part will take 2 minutes. Then we go now to group discussion, whereby the trainer will coordinate group discussion to identify key features of the types of activation functions as they were discussed in the video clip that the learners watched. Yeah, the learners are expected to, or the trainees are expected to participate in the group discussions and point out the key features. Still, the assessment here will be looking for knowledge by oral questioning and written assignment. Then on the part of the session, we see that this part of the discussion will take 4 minutes. Yeah. Remember, you are only having a session of 10 minutes, so you cannot do much Session review. Once done, now you can summarize the key points of the session and invite learners to ask questions, the trainees to ask questions if any. Now we handle that within the 2 minutes for that particular part, the section, and I give an assignment to and give the student a chance to go and explore more on the activation functions. And the assignment is explain the importance of nonlinearity in neural networks. And now the total time for the session is 10 minutes. Later I will self-reflect about the session, either that you have met all the learning outcomes. If you are not able to meet, and review why were you not able to meet the desired or the expected learning outcomes. Then you put your signature. So generally that is how the session plan is. Yeah, it is just a plan of your session so that it can act as a guidance of what is expected and what the learners will achieve at the end of by the end of the session.